Today we're going to do a little bit of breathing to release the backside of the pelvic floor and really feel the air and pressure in the backside. Feel those sits bones spread apart, otherwise known as breathing into your butt. So grab a hand towel, nothing too thick, something you can roll up, and we're going to head to the wall. So rolling from your side to your back, we're going to play around with the position of the little washcloth and see how that kind of impacts where we feel any release, where we feel the pressure kind of go into our pelvis. This is meant to be very restorative. We're not doing a ton of active work. Also tune into where your body likes to be in space. If you feel you're kind of rocking up like this in a bit more of a flared out rib cage position, or if you're able to kind of feel that gentle connection with the ground below you with the ribs more down. So first off, we're gonna place this little towel roll kind of right around like the tailbone area, so that it kind of like almost brings us into this little posterior tilt. So notice how my back is kind of flattened to the ground when I do it more around the tailbone. If I put it higher, it's going to kind of arch me over. So you want it to be a little bit lower so that it helps kind of flatten you to the ground. So just breathing here and taking some nice inhales. Inhale. Allow the pressure to flow down the air. And then exhale. You can add the pelvic floor lift. Inhale. Glutes are relaxed. Exhale. We're just breathing here. Inhale. Air flows down and exhale. Tune into where you feel the air and pressure flow on your inhale. And let's take two more, and then on that exhale and lift, it's just general feeling of where you're connecting with the pelvic floor in this position. Now let's take the towel roll and just place it a little bit higher, more at the sacrum area, so that you kind of almost roll over it into a little bit more lordosis or anterior tilt, however you want to think about it. So we're not excessively arching. You're just going to notice how it kind of tilts you forward a little bit, so you're finding that little bit of movement in the pelvis. Now we're going to inhale and exhale. Hopefully with this shift in position, you can now actually sense your butt, the area kind of around your rectum, those posterior pelvic floor muscles, kind of opening and releasing a little bit. So the air and pressure can now flow into the backside in this position. Whereas before, you probably felt more of that air and pressure on the front side of the pelvic floor, and now we're kind of feeling that more on the back side. So we're going to aim for 5 to 10 breaths here. Very restorative. Inhale. And then exhale. Ribs come down. Exhale. So playing around with position, this is a very restorative position where you can feel the air and pressure flow more so into the posterior side of the pelvic floor. It's really important that the muscles back there can release so that our sacrum can move. This plays around with where you feel any discomfort in a deadlift or a squat. We need that sacrum to be able to tip forward. We need the pelvic floor to be able to lengthen. Otherwise, everything back there is just going to feel really tight, and it's also going to impact the musculature of the pelvis and the other muscles around us. There are other ways we can play around with some breath work in different positions to facilitate that opening, but start with the 90-90 position. Remember, very restorative, and also aiming for a smaller washcloth, not something too thick that's going to dump you forward into too much of extension in the low back. Give it a try and let me know how it goes.